What's going on, rope breakers? Wow, welcome to another edition of React After. This time it's NXT Unstoppable, and Unstoppable it was. What an amazing live show on the WWE Network. So much to talk about. We're going to keep it in just 30 minutes for you guys as usual. Got a great show lined up for you. So much to talk about. But first, I'm going to make sure you guys know what to do here if you're new to the show. Yes, we are giving stuff away tonight on the show. And to do that, for you to win tonight on this show, one of our two prizes, all you have to do is be tuned into this show. Make sure you're visible in our chat on the side here and tweet to us at Rope Break Wrestling. It's as simple as that. That's how you get yourself entered prize. But wow, just an amazing show. As this is exactly what we've come to expect from NXT and the NXT live shows. I really can't see it any other way now. It's just like every single episode or every single live show on the WWE Network just continues to outdo itself. And really, I don't know how they can top what just happened tonight, because I'll go right out and say it before even talking about it. A+ show. And not every single match was an A. 2 hours, perfect time, perfect amount of time. Was interested the whole way through. Never got up to take a piss break. None of the matches were boring, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And NXT just continues to do that time and time again. Let's start with the elephant in the room, and that is Samoa Joe. Wow. Samoa Joe shows up finally on NXT. It's been rumored for months and months now. Would Samoa Joe join WWE? Would he be in NXT? Answer: Samoa Joe showing up on NXT Unstoppable. Samoa Joe, he's already got his own shirt. And it says Samoa Joe. They called him Samoa Joe. It looks like he's going to keep the name Samoa Joe, which is big because a lot of people complain about that type of stuff. A lot of people were worried. Samoa Joe, I think his name is already established so much so that they don't need to change it. And they actually kind of voluntarily changed it, working his son's name into his name. But wow, just an amazing ending to the show. Chat saying, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe stare down. My teenage self just squeed here on the couch as well. And then Fish J83 saying, amazing show. NXT is the best program WWE has going. You got that right. I think that's a doubt right now. And I tell everybody, not just my friends, but I tell everybody here on all of our Rope Break live shows too, $10 for this WWE Network. You really cannot beat it. You can't beat it. As you guys are weighing in on Twitter now too, you cannot beat $10 for this WWE Network, because let's face it, a lot of us wrestling fans, we pay for cable for pretty much Raw and maybe SmackDown. I know for me, I watch a lot of live sports, but other than that, it's Raw, and that's pretty much the only thing I watch, and I pay an astronomical cable bill for it. NXT, I pay $10 a month to watch NXT and to watch what I just saw. In addition to all those, there's so much stuff for $10. It's absolutely extraordinary. I don't know why anybody would not spend the $10. It's so worth it. But I mean, there's so much to talk about in regards to this show. I mean, where do I start? I actually normally, for a show like this, and Matt will pick on me, but normally for the live react shows that we do, I've got notes. I take down notes. This show was so good. I didn't even take a piece of paper and a pen out to take notes. I couldn't keep my eyes off the TV screen, and I don't have notes. So, I mean, let's talk about what you guys want to talk about, what you thought was the biggest and best parts of the show. Let me know here in our YouTube chat, and we'll cover what you guys want to talk about. But obviously, with Samoa Joe and the ending there, we're going to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn match. Sami Zayn getting tons of offense in that match. Looked really good. But in the end, Kevin Owens getting the upper hand. I loved the banter with William Regal, the general manager of NXT, getting in there. going toe to toe with Kevin Owens. That was really getting some heat there. And then, of course, him backing down to Joe gets him heat as well. Keith Bellows says, I haven't watched SmackDown in years, but I watch NXT when I can. What does that tell you? It tells you exactly what Keith is trying to say here, is that, you know, the product that's on the WWE Network with NXT is just so much better in a show like SmackDown. And you can't even use the taped argument with SmackDown, because I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I watch Raw because it's live and SmackDown is taped. That's why I don't like it. That's an invalid argument, because NXT is taped and taped weeks in advance. Obviously, tonight we get the live show, but that's only a once a couple month thing. Where SmackDown is taped every single week, NXT is taped, I think, maybe 3 weeks at a time. I don't know exactly what it is that they do, but it's taped. But it's compelling programming. That's what it is. It keeps you glued. They showcase the wrestling. They've got the right amount of wrestling, the right amount of storytelling, and that's what is lacking from the main roster right now. Show, I'm glued to my seat, not wanting to miss a beat. That's exactly how I felt during this show. I got home from work a couple hours prior to NXT. I felt compelled to jump right on, watch the NXT pre-show, which I don't do with Raw. I felt compelled to watch the pre-show. Torn, because I watched the pre-show and now I'm hungry. I got to make myself something to eat. But I don't want to miss the beginning of the NXT pay-per-view. So it's kind of like, do I go hungry for the next 2 hours or risk missing something to make myself some? I was torn. I don't know what to do. But eventually I decided to worth it. And it's worth it chatting with you guys here as well on the live YouTube show. Now, usually, if this is your first time being in, I know FishJ83 appears to be a new viewer. If this is your first time watching the show, we do this every single Monday night after Raw. So if you do walk away and you miss something, we recap it there. Me, my buddy Matt, who cannot make it tonight, and sometimes the former host of the show, Alec Kozubsky, will be on as well. But tonight, we're talking about NXT. So let's talk about, I mean, the other big elephant in the room, and Keith Bellow kind of taking the words right out of my mouth here, says Banks Lynch was the best match. Awesome back and forth. When you get divas that can wrestle with the time that they need, they can put on top tier matches. That's exactly where I was rolling. Next was the Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Divas. It's not a Divas match. It's really the NXT Women's Championship match. But yes, they call them Divas. So that match was incredible. First off, to start, I tweeted this out on our Twitter page, which is @RopeBreak. Please do so. I tweeted out, I love the big-time championship match feel that they gave to the pre-entrance, kind of that rock, the intense music playing in the background before the entrances. They showed them in the gorilla position. That's stuff we don't always get, and that's stuff that really makes the match feel very important. I dug it. I loved it, and I loved Becky Lynch's new, I don't want to say attire, but her new look. I loved the dyed hair. I loved the glasses. The jacket was very Edge-like, and even the glasses, if you remember back when Edge first started with Edge and Christian, and they rocked the glasses. Just an awesome getup from Becky Lynch. I loved it. The combination of the hair, the glasses, and the jacket. And then these two get in the ring. Becky Lynch wasn't already on the map. After that, on the map, it was an absolutely excellent storytelling in-ring performance from these two women. And Keith said it best. When they get the time that they need, they can put on the top-tier matches. That's the difference between the main roster and the NXT women's division right now. And Jason Solomon, the Solomonster on Twitter, who's got a pretty good Solomonster sounds off, he does something that's really popular on Monday nights called the Diva Stopwatch. And what he does is he screenshots his iPhone. He does a stopwatch during the Divas match. And oftentimes we're looking at 1 to 3 minute matches between the Divas. Tonight, he did the same stopwatch, 15 minutes plus, particular women's title match. And that was only one of the women's matches featured on the show. So not only did you have one women's match go 15 minutes, but you also had 2 total women's matches with a total of 6 divas getting on the card. That's big. That's something you do not see at the main roster level. And I don't know why. Total sense that they would do this when they get such great reception from the fans on Twitter and all across the world with these NXT shows. You kind of begin to wonder why it's not translating to the main roster. Who is it that's not picking up on the fact that we love seeing top tier matches from the women? But really, some great spots in that match. Some great storytelling, something that you don't see from anybody, not just women, not just divas. Something you don't see from everybody these days is selling, continuing to sell an injury. I know it's something that bothers JR. Stone Cold has talked about it on his podcast as well. You see somebody get injured, and 2 minutes later, it's for freely again. Tonight, both women did an excellent job selling the arm injuries to the fullest. It was beautiful. At the end of the match, Becky Lynch is crying. Just all around, excellent storytelling, great. And that's the thing. That's the thing that's missing is the storytelling in the ring. You don't see people selling the injuries with the facial expressions and just all that type of stuff is really what makes the match. It sets it over the top. And FishJ83 says everything from the entrance, their look, to the match length is so much more superior to the Divas division. The universe actually respects them and their skills. And that's a good word to use, is respect. Difference right now is respect. And you look at Becky Lynch getting that standing ovation from the crowd after the match. She loses the match. You don't often see a standing ovation. First off, great move by Becky Lynch, or by Sasha Banks, rather. She's the heel here. She rolls out of the ring. She gets out of the ring and leaves it for Becky from the crowd. The sympathy was there for Becky Lynch, and it made a great deal, and that's exactly what it was respect. And ironically enough, earlier in the show, we got a screenshot of Eva Marie, and that's the exact opposite side of the spectrum, where you've got somebody that doesn't get much respect from the hardcore fans because they're not in. They don't get the time. You look at, even divas like Nikki Bella and Naomi, Brie Bella, they're good in the ring. The problem is they don't get the time they need to tell the same story. Now, couple that with the fact that divas like Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, all these ladies are extremely hungry to get to that main roster, to get to that top spot. And I would argue, and it's not even a really valid argument, I would argue that the NXT Women's Championship holds much more value than the Divas Championship on the main roster right now. I think there's no argument there. But either way, and Keith pointing out again, don't even forget about the Charlotte Bayley versus Dana and Emma match. Wasn't bad as well. That's what I'm saying. Not only do we get that 15-minute match for the women's championship, but we also get another women's match, and with 4 hungry competitors in that match: Charlotte, Bayley, Dana, and Emma. And I think they did a great job in that match, highlighting Charlotte and Bayley to not show off the flaws in Dana's game right now. Dana is a newcomer. She's got a lot of learning to do. She's very green, as they call it, as many of you smart fans. She's new to the business. She's going to have to learn a little bit, and who better to learn from than Bayley and Charlotte, arguably 2 of the top divas in all of WWE. Forget about NXT and WWE. Those are 2 of the top divas, and Emma is excellent in the ring as well. She hasn't been given her due. She's a perfect example of somebody that can perform. Main roster didn't get the time, and she sunk back down. Now she's in NXT in arguably a better position than she was on the main roster. She's on a pay-per-view. That's really all I got to say. But that match was excellent as well. Just very interesting. Very interesting. That's what it lines up to. It was compelling programming. I was interested in the match. I didn't want to leave. Sometimes when you're looking at a main roster pay-per-view, you see the Divas match coming up, you think, oh, this is my time to go get a snack. This is my time to go take a leak. You don't think that when you're watching the NXT division. But we've got tons of stuff to talk about still here. We're about halfway through our live reaction show. And again, we do this after Monday Night Raw every single Monday night. Usually it's going to be myself and Matt, or myself and Alec, or Alec and Matt, a combination of two or three of us. But tonight is special in the fact that this week, and I appreciate you guys coming out and showing out for each of those episodes. Sunday night we did it after Payback. Monday night we did it after Raw. We skipped yesterday, obviously nothing was going on, and then tonight we had the live NXT show. So we're giving away stuff tonight. Tonight we're giving away 2 3-disc DVD sets, brand new. We're giving away WrestleMania 30, the 3-disc set. And we're also giving away the NWO 3-disc set as well. So 2 giveaways there for you guys that are tuned in right now. We'll do that at the end of the show. But Jamie, or should I say Jamie, tuning in as well, giving some input, saying, I was delighted when Emma came back to NXT. I think we all were. Just the fact that we know Emma is good in the ring, and she wasn't getting her due in the main roster, or on the main roster rather. She got thrown with Santino into a comedy gimmick when she's a legitimate wrestler. She's a good deal. Now, talking about Emma, I'm wondering if anybody else noticed Corey Graves throw some shade at Emma in that misdemeanors or something like that. Everybody remembers when Emma was busted for stealing an iPhone case from Walmart. That was kind of a big deal last year. She got fired from WWE, and then they eventually rehired her, and since then she was kind of just in limbo. She could thank the WWE fans for getting her rehired. I mean, I'm with you. I'm glad to see her back in NXT, because that's really where she's been able to show off. The announce team made light of it on the show. She was in the finals for the inaugural NXT Women's Championship. So she went toe-to-toe with Paige to become the first NXT champion, and not many people remember that. She put on some excellent matches in her early NXT days and in the days of early NXT on the WWE Network. So excellent stuff. Glad to see Emma back, and glad to see women's wrestling being shown the respect that it deserves on these NXT shows. But let's move away from the females who did an awesome job. Let's talk about the Baron. And this is kind of a polarized. People, I feel, are torn half and half between Rhino and Baron Corbin. What I should say is they're torn between Baron Corbin, whether or not they like him or whether or not they don't like him. And I have to say, I'm on the side of Baron Corbin. I think the guy has unlimited potential. One of the next great big guys in WWE. You've got guys like Kane and Big Show and Undertaker. We're not going to be seeing them forever. As a matter of fact, we're not going to be seeing them very much in the immediate future. These guys are nearing the end of their career, and you got to look to guys like Big Cassidy and a guy like Baron Corbin take that load when those guys are gone. And I think Baron Corbin has a very interesting and marketable character. In fact, yes, Sons of Anarchy is over. I understand that, but he's got that Undertaker American badass type character to him. And people say Corbin needs a mouthpiece. He's not a good talker, blah, blah, blah. Whatever happened to guys not needing to talk? If you remember when he came in as the American badass, he didn't do much talking. He played it cool, and I kind of think the way Baron Corbin is portraying him in that sense, that he's the lone wolf. He doesn't need to do talking. He can let his fighting do the talking. He can kind of be that big dude that's polarizing. And I don't know why fans are booing the hell out of him. I honestly, it could be just because of the booking, because Rhino is such a big deal and is such a nostalgic part of those hardcore fans' hearts. ECW people, a lot of fans that love NXT were ECW fans as well. I can, include myself in that category. So when you put him up against a guy like Rhino, you're really setting him up to be booed. And then over the weekend, the NXT house shows, we were there in Albany, and I know Keith was there as well. He was facing Tommy Dreamer. So again, you make it kind of difficult for people to really like Baron. But prior to that, Baron was getting the Baron's going to bore you chance. I don't see it. I dig Baron Corbin. I tweeted that out. I think he's got a bright future. I expect big things from Baron Corbin. Now, we're running out of time here. We got about 7 minutes left. I want to also cover the tag team title match, which was a very big surprise. We had Enzo Amore and Big Cass going toe-to-toe with Blake and Murphy. It really had me scratching my head, to be honest with you. I couldn't believe we didn't see the title change there. And I know a little bit of that is just me emotionally wanting Enzo and Big Cass to get the titles. I think they're ready. I think they've been ready. I think they're ready to be on the main roster. I know a lot of people point to their wrestling not being the most technically sound. I don't think that always matters. These guys are entertaining, and they're wicked over with the crowd. And at the end of the day, those are the most important things. They're entertaining, and they're over with the crowd. They don't need to be the Lucha Dragons. They don't need to be doing Hurricane Ranas. They get enough out of the ring. You look at people over the course of time. Hulk Hogan's Ultimate Warriors. They weren't the best in-ring competitors, but they were entertaining as hell, and they got over with the crowd. You don't need to see Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero in every single match, to get over. And Enzo and Big Cass are showing that. I was surprised that Alexa Bliss makes the heel turn there. I think she was, just getting over as a face. Turn her heel. I think they could have had Dana Brooke in that position. That would have gotten her a lot more heat. But who knows? I guess this is the course that they're going to go on. But Keith saying, was it just me or did Big Cass wait like 3 years to start lifting Enzo from the top for the top rope move? I agree. Kind of built to that. I mean, I know Enzo was kind of dead weight there. He was supposed to be gassed, beaten up, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he did wait a little bit there. And a little bit was because, he was looking outside the ring there at what was happening with Alexa. But either way, an interesting match, a surprising ending, and that's really the main roster shows is unpredictability. Everybody predicted Enzo and Big Cass to finally take the titles tonight, and they didn't. It wasn't predictable. People might have expected Becky Lynch to get the women's championship. Instead, we saw no title changes, and that's not often that you see that. But either way, just a great show. I know I didn't touch on every match, but it really was a great show from top to bottom. The last thing I got to talk about, and it's surprising that I'm talking about this last, Finn Balor, Tyler Breeze, an excellent match. They showed Atami getting knocked out by somebody prior to the pay-per-view. I don't know who that was supposed to be. Initially, I thought it was going to be Samoa Joe that did the knockout, and then he was going to come in and be a part of the match, but that didn't happen. I like the way they but I don't know. Finn Balor and Tyler Breeze, it was an excellent match. I'm surprised it led the show off, but I guess, to be honest with you, it was smart to do that because it got the crowd off to a super hot start. Balor's new entrance, I shouldn't say new entrance, but his new attire that he came out with tonight was excellent. It always gets people there. There's because it's not surprising to see them put on an excellent match, and that match got lost in this card. Honestly, as you can see here, I didn't even remember about it until the end because we had so many great matches throughout the course of the show between the main event, the Divas matches, the Baron match was good. The tag team champion match was good. The whole damn show was great. And that's the type of stuff that we need to see more often out of the main roster. But either way, everybody did their job. Fish J83 saying that entrance, though, damn. I agree. damn is correct. Just an awesome A+. I loved it. But now it's time to give away the prizes. And we've got, like I said, the NWO 3-disc set and the WrestleMania 30 set. And these are going to be shipped directly to you guys free of charge. Send a picture of yourself when you get your giveaway. Send a picture of yourself and let your fans or let your friends know that Rope Break Wrestling is the place to be, the place to go. Keith saying, getting a comment in at the last second here saying, if Hideo wasn't injured, do you think that match would have still been the opener? I think so. I think they wanted to start the show off hot. They knew they had those matches were going to be hot at the end of the show, so they wanted to start the show off hot. I think that match served its purpose. It did a great job doing that, and Balor's entrance alone did the job there. But let's get into these giveaways here. We've got the 2 giveaways, like I said, and what I was saying was let your friends know about RopeBreakWrestling.com. Still relatively new. We've only been in the game for a little over a year. We've got already over 4,000 likes on Facebook, over 400 followers on Twitter. Our subscribers are growing on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that tonight. And we also just joined Periscope, the app that you can get on your smartphone, where we will be broadcasting live randomly throughout Raws, throughout SmackDowns, throughout pay-per-view. We'll just be jumping on there and answering questions and doing all sorts of fun stuff on there. Because at the end of the day, what I try to tell everybody in the Matt and Alec try to relay the same message. We don't proclaim to be better than you guys. At the end of the day, we are just fans, just like you. This whole website is for fans, by fans. We're not a part of the business. We don't pretend to be a part of the business. We just are fans like you guys, and we appreciate fans like you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in for the show, so much so that the 3 of you guys that have been live chatting, I know we've had more people tuned into the show that are also tweeting with us, but the 3 of you that have joined tonight to watch on YouTube and do the live chat, Keith Bello, Jamie, and Fish 83, you're all going to go home with a prize tonight. I'm going to reach into the prize bin and grab just one more prize to make sure everybody goes home with something. So, and an NWO DVD. This is going to go to Fish J83. You're going to take home the NWO 3-disc set, DVD set. Make sure you go on to Twitter, follow us, send us a tweet, and we will follow you, and then you can direct message us your shipping information. The WrestleMania 30 3-disc set is going to go to Keith Bello. Keith, make sure you do the same thing. Send us a tweet on Twitter. I will follow you on the account, and then you can send us your shipping information. And then one more DVD over there to give away, the greatest superstars of WrestleMania. We're going to give that away to Jamie. So all 3 of you guys go home with a prize. That's our way of saying thank you for tuning into tonight's show. And again, we appreciate it. Spread the word. Word of mouth is the best way to spread things. We dig you guys too. Make sure you like this video for us, please. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, tell your friends to giveaways all the time. And we appreciate you guys again for tuning in. I can't say that enough. We're for the fans. And I know Alec and Matt always stress the same principle. So please go on Twitter, brag about us, but most importantly, send us a tweet at Rope Break Wrestling to let us know you're a winner. We'll follow you. You send us your shipping info, and in a couple days, you'll have your prize shipped directly to your doorstep. Then get us a photo. But guys, again, thank you for tuning into tonight's show. That pretty much does it. We'll be back next Monday for React After Raw. Until then, get all of your latest news and rumors on RopeBreakWrestling.com. It's the only place to go. Get out of the bleachers and get in the ring with Rope Break. And until next Monday, I'm AuSSy, and this has been React After NXT Unstoppable. Have a great night, guys.